Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Whiskey Dictionary. How is your Irish Whiskey Month going? I point aggressively and yell at you. It's going great for me. This is only the second week, but I'm already excited because I'm doing something really cool. Last week I did Tullamore 12, which was delicious. This one is one I'm really looking forward to doing, and I've had this a couple of times at this point. I've loved it so far, I guess spoiler, but I already told you all the whiskeys this month are good ones. So, the Teeling Blackpitts. Now, Teeling has a great reputation, at least from my point of view, and I've met a bunch of their reps as well. They're always really nice people, and they seem very happy to work for the company. You do meet reps that don't seem super happy to be working for the companies that they are. Teeling has never been one of those. And every time I see a Teeling on the shelf and I pick it up blind, I'm happy. I've yet to buy a bad one. So, keep that in mind. And when I bought this for $75, I had that in mind. I was like, this is probably going to be worth the money. Let's find out if it was. But first, let's talk a little bit about Blackpitts. So what is a Blackpitts? Okay, it's the name of a neighborhood. So behind the new Teeling distillery is this neighborhood called Blackpitts, which is actually last year in 2021, it was named the 15th coolest neighborhood to live in the world. So, I mean, that tells you something, but the whole idea is that it's known for its artists and its artisans. And it also has just historically been known for its malt houses as well. So they malt a lot of grains there. So it seems to make sense, given what Teeling does. They always have this, they're not a craft distillery, but they always have a craft distillery feel when I think about them. And maybe I just think of them as being smaller than they actually are. I don't know what that's about, but it makes sense to me to have them abutting this kind of artistic neighborhood. So they named it after that. Makes a lot of sense. All right. So let's talk about the actual bits about this whiskey, get that through, and then we'll start drinking. Released in late 2020, this 46% ABV no-age statement whiskey was matured in ex-bourbon barrels and ex-sauternes casks. It's 100% malted barley, non-chill filtered, and about $75. This is triple distilled whiskey, and something to know about when you're making a peated whiskey is that you start with a phenol level, which in this case is 55 ppm, which is something that they got from over in Speyside. And as you distill it, you're going to actually drop that phenol level. Now, to give you an idea of what 55 ppm is like, this is the Port Charlotte 10. This is an Islay whiskey. It's considered heavily peated, and it's 40 ppm. So when you drink this, you know you're drinking smoke. And this is higher than that by 15. So consider that. But, also consider the fact that they are now triple distilling it and lowering it and lowering it and lowering it. It actually lowered more than they expected, down to 15 ppm, which actually gives a very nice flavor. Now, aging this in ex-bourbon barrels and then ex-sauternes barrels was meant to kind of impart that white wine fruity flavor into this whiskey, which is just a wild idea to think, take Irish whiskey, triple distill it so you're reducing a lot of the flavor, but then add the peat and, just throw some fruit in there too. Why not? It's a wild idea, and I think it's super cool. But what they're trying to do also, just something to keep in mind, is by lowering that phenol level in this manner and then aging it or finishing it in these other types of barrels, you want to try to reduce that medicinal quality that a lot of people don't like in peated whiskeys, especially Scotch peated whiskeys. Instead, you're going more for like a barbecue smoke or charcoal or something like that, maybe ashes. It's less wet campfire or iodine or Band-Aid and more barbecue. So it's something to keep in mind. They're doing something different, and then they're adding fruit to it. Why not? So something to keep in mind too is the inspiration for this was a 24-year-old Teeling that they had done, where it had won all kinds of awards in 2019 as being like one of the best whiskeys ever. So something, they look to kind of reproduce, and I think if this keeps selling well, they'll probably continue to do it. Let's go ahead and have a taste of this. Now, keep in mind, as I said, I'm going to be drinking the Connemara no-age statement along with this, not right this second. I'm going to do all my notes and everything, but right afterwards, just to kind of compare, because it's been a while since I've had this, and I actually liked this a lot. So I'll be curious to see how it compares. It's also a lot cheaper than this, so we'll see if that matters. All right, let's go ahead and give this a nose. All right, so here's the weird part. Smoke is not much of a characteristic on the nose here. It may become. I'm going to nose this a few more times, but the first thing that I'm smelling actually is just lemon, and pretty heavily lemon. It's a very crisp and nice smelling whiskey, almost like smelling Bruichladdich Classic Laddie. It's got just these more fruity notes, but very mild. I mean, I know the Bruichladdich, that particular kind, is unpeated, but this is very low peated. So I don't know. It's interesting. Trying to compare it to something that I don't have right next to me. I probably shouldn't do that, but either way, trying to give you an idea. All right, so lemon, there's this chocolatey orange kind of flavor going on in the nose. I should say nose note. The subtle smoke is starting to come across. As it kind of evaporates just a little bit, I'm starting to get kind of a shoe leather vibe from it. A little bit of vanilla, although I will say most of the bourbon notes are completely lost on me here. But it's getting lost in this fruity kind of generality going on here. Like, it's hard to pick out like apples, or I mean, I could pick out the oranges and the lemons, but typically if you get apples from a bourbon barrel, you're going to get pears as well. And I'm not really getting either one of those. The only indication of the oak barrel, the ex-bourbon barrel, is the vanilla. And even that's very subtle. So the Sauternes cask really takes over here. All right, let's go ahead and have a taste of this. Cheers to Irish Whiskey Month. Okay, there's the peat. That's really good. Wow. Okay. Wow, I never cough. That's impressive. Okay, this is really good. First off, just love it right out the gate. So the peat is strong. This is also my first drink of the night. I should get in the habit of having a sip before I film anything, but whatever. All right, I'm gonna have one more sip here. Yeah, I mean, the peat is not something that's going to punch you in the face and make you be like, oh my gosh, peated whiskey. But it is good. It's there. It's definitely prominent, and it's the first thing you're going to taste. Once you move past that, though, surprisingly, that lemon follows it up really fast. There's also kind of, as it's evaporating on my tongue, that's a thing you should try, by the way, if you don't do that. After you have a sip, while it's still kind of coating the inside of your mouth, if you have kind of a viscous or a heavy, whiskey, it's going to potentially change the flavor. And it's something that is part of the tasting experience. So definitely make sure you do that. Now I'm going to stop talking and take another sip. All right. So the peat delivers on that promise, and it's starting to calm down a little bit, which is wonderful because I'm getting more of the notes. The peat delivers on the promise of not being medicinal. It is definitely much more of a charcoal barbecue kind of like meat grilling all day kind of, or not grilling, just cooking all day kind of thing. It's very, very, I just love this already. I didn't expect to gush this much. All right. You've got lemon going on. You've got, actually, oddly enough, salted caramel and popcorn kind of all together. Like, the popcorn note is one that you rarely get. And I attribute that a little bit to like a hint of salt along with that caramel, and then just something a little bit earthy. All of that together kind of tastes like salted caramel popcorn to me. I said lemon, like lemon zest. It's very powerful lemon. I think that's really about it. It's both it's both smoky and crisp at the same time, if that makes any sense. Probably doesn't, because it's a weird new experience. All right, let's go overall here. I love it. My only hesitance here is the price point of $75, I feel is correct for this whiskey. Now, it's a no age statement, so that price might be a non-starter for some people who are really looking for an age statement, but I'm trying to value this based off the flavor. I think this is a super unique whiskey. It's unlike anything else I've really tried. It is delicious. Even just last night, I had a few of these back to back after 3 beers, but still, I had several of these, and they were all very good. And the power and the flavor maintained post all that. That was why I was telling you I had the 3 beers and then a couple of drinks. It still tasted very powerful, and I was still able to pick things up at that point. So that is pretty cool. Like I said, my only hesitance is the price here, and that didn't stop me from buying it as soon as I saw it anyway. So I don't think it would stop me again at all. And I don't think it should stop you. I think this is one that I can solidly give a buy it to. Now, if you're looking for somebody else's opinion, oddly enough, in 2021, Whiskey Advocate, who, their lists are fun to read, maybe getting a little bit lesser quality or a little bit more biased every year, but that's just my opinion. This got number 3 last year, as far as the top 20 goes. So it's not just me that loves this whiskey. All right. Like I said, this gets buy it. Go out and buy it. By all means, you're going to really like it, I think, if you like peated whiskeys. Now, as I promised, we're going to do a quick little side-by-side from the Connemara original. Now, this is a no-age statement. This is 40% ABV, so it's not going to be quite as viscous as the other one, which is 46. So we'll see what happens, though. I'm actually very excited. I did not do this prior to filming the episode, so I have no idea what to expect here. Let me have a quick little drink of water. All right. While I'm about to do this, let me just key you guys into something. So this episode's coming out on Friday, right? On Monday, March 14th, I have a brand new channel that I'm doing some fun stuff together with Jason from the Mash and Drum, Ed from the Rocket Review, Clifton from Bourbon Bites, and my friend Molly, who has a website called Hugging the Cactus. And all 4 of them are going to be playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons with me on my second channel, Dungeons and Drams. You can find a link to it up here, and I'll link it also at the end and in the comments down below. Definitely go check it out. I've got a couple of little like teaser things going up there. And on Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be doing that. So you should definitely come join. It's going to be really fun. Just a new idea for a live stream. Like everybody just drinks and, you know, kind of does their thing, which is super fun. But I wanted to have something a little bit more targeted, a little bit more like organized, I guess. Anyway, all right. So let's talk Connemara versus Blackpitts. So I just had this, so I'm going to have this. Now the nose on this is actually very good too, but it's not lemon. It's not smoke. It's very sugary, almost like a candy. So that's interesting. I don't recall what kind of notes I gave this previously, but my initial impression here is that it's very mildly fruity, but very heavy, sweet candy. All right, let's have a taste. Cheers. Interesting. Boy, it's not even a comparison. This tastes like smoky water compared to this. That extra 6% ABV is making a big difference. Also, probably something to do with the quality of the ingredients. I still like this, but just having it next to this, it's like Ireland got its act together. They figured it out. They did used to do a lot of like peated whiskeys back in the 80s and 70s, but it's not really been a thing for quite a while. So, yeah. Okay. I don't recall what this is. I'll put the value up here, but I do recall that it was less than this. I would go the Blackpitts like 10 out of 10 here. It's just like choosing it 10 out of 10 times. It's wonderful. Just go buy it. All right. Anyway, if you'd like to learn a little bit more about Teeling, you can check out the video over here. If you'd like to see some of the other videos I'm doing for Irish Whiskey Month, check out over here. All right. Thank you very much for joining me here for the Whiskey Dictionary, and I hope you have a great rest of your night. Cheers.